Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I decided today I was going to draw, make a little tutorial on how to draw hands. A shout out to Fernando Comics. He actually suggested this in the previous video, how to draw comic characters. He asked about hands, and I think that would be an interesting thing. I actually before this have been testing what kind of forms of hands would be better to use, which are the best. At first I just kind of did my own thing, and I was just over here testing around, and I think I found the best method. It was the method I ended up primarily using throughout almost all of my characters that I draw. Here's one of the people I draw. I kind of drew his hands in a certain way, actually. I know in the last video I actually drew an oval for the hands, and that's perfectly fine. Some people do that. But if you're just if you have the time, and you're able to do it, here's a little thing that I personally like to do. And so what I like to start with is I like to start with a little trapezoid. Now you might be wondering, why a trapezoid? Well, kind of look at your hand a little bit. Your hand kind of resembles a little bit like a trapezoid, a little bit. So first, draw a trapezoid. Now, depending if it's a righty or lefty, your thumb is going to be in one of the places, right? From this angle, it looks like someone's either grabbing something like this or just putting their hand right there. So why don't we just draw it like he's just holding his hand down? Now, placing a thumb, it comes from the side of your hand. It's not really part of your hand. And what you want to do is you want to draw a circle for the knuckles. Now, your thumb is going to be primarily, away from most of the other kind of fingers, because if you see your hand, your thumb's right here and your fingers right here. So, kind of messed up. So I suggest, putting it the thumb or somewhere around here, and trying it a little. And for the rest, you're gonna have to draw little knuckles so you could figure out kind of the placement of where you want to put the other fingers. So try that. So draw knuckles first, actually. Draw knuckles first. Then you draw your fingers. Now before we draw the other four fingers, first you're gonna have to kind of figure out what are you gonna do. Since I'm going to just make the hand rest a little bit, I'm just gonna sort of line them out a little bit, draw another little circle right there for the bendy parts of your little hand, the joint. Damn, I don't know why I wasn't able to say that. And kind of draw it out. Now you're going to see that some lines are bigger than others. That's because, well, that's how your hand is. Your pinky is the smallest finger out of all of them. Your middle finger is the longest. Your ring finger and your index finger, for the most part, should be around the same size. So remember to do that. What's interesting is this hand kind of looks like if it's an animatronics hand. That's kind of cool. It looks like a little robotic hand. So now that you have your fingers situated, lined them out, you're kind of, trace. Kind of like how we did in last video with the arms. You're just going to go around them and trace around the fingers. lightly. Remember to do it lightly. And boom, you have your hand right there. And, well, that's pretty much how you draw a hand. Let's try to draw the left hand. Now, first, do the little trapezoid. Don't forget, draw the joints. The thumb is mostly going to be in the bottom. And it's going to be a little bit away from the other fingers. Now, draw the thumb. Now, as you can see, I'm kind of like doing some oval shapes. Usually in comics and cartoons and all that, sometimes people have like sort of rectangular shaped fingers. That's kind of weird, to be honest. Now, draw a line. Make the joints. And then draw more lines. Now remember, index fingers and the ring fingers are relatively the same size. Pinky fingers are usually smaller, and the middle finger is usually the largest, or the longest. Then gently trace around. And boom, you have your hand. And that's pretty much how you draw hands. Of course, you know, there's other ways. There's the oval way, which I guess kind of works too. If you want to do the oval way, let me do it here. Let's draw the oval way here. So usually you just draw your oval. That's going to be like this part of your hand. And really why I usually do this part is because when you start it, you kind of like branch out to make the thumb. Kind of. Then you kind of like go around and smoothing it out to find out like different joints you're gonna, or the knuckles you're gonna see, and then you branch them out. Still drawing the little joints here. And smooth them out. Now usually I just don't do that method because as you can see here, you kind of already see kind of like the trapezoid shape that you're making. The only difference is that the curve of the thumb is kind of in a weird place. That's why I like doing this better. And you could even like over here, you could just like, after you're done with your hand, you could just smooth it out a little bit. See? But either way, whichever one kind of like suits your fancy, it's relatively kind of gives you the end result of making a hand. Now you kind of see that they're kind of weird looking hands. So for this video, I'm just gonna kind of like trace them out with, well, my personal little Sharpie pen. You just buy them at the store. They're really not that much. They come in fours, usually. But I'm just gonna trace out the hands so I could erase it and, you know, show you how it is. Now, my hands aren't exactly steady. but they're pretty good for this occasion. Now you don't have to do this part. I'm just doing it so I could like erase the rest of it, so you could see for yourself how the hands kind of look. And boom, those are your hands. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment on it, and I'll try to answer it. Leave a suggestion down below what you want to see next, and remember, if this video gets, a certain amount of likes, and the last video gets another amount of likes, I'll add them up, and if it's 1,000, I'll show you how to draw an anime character. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and as I will, keep posting as long as you have some questions on how to draw certain things. Thank you, and have a good day.